Okay, we're looking at Logic Game 1. This is LSAT 40, and this is June of 2003. Charlie makes a soup by adding 6 kinds of foods: K, L, M, O, T, and Z. So K, L, M, O, T, and Z. To a broth, one food at a time. No food is added more than once. The order in which Charlie adds the food to the broth must be consistent with the following. Okay, so we know that we're dealing with a sequence game. All right. All right, so we're given the first rule is if mushrooms are third, then lentils are last. So if mushrooms are third, then lentils are sixth. And if lentils are not sixth, then mushrooms are not third. If the zucchini is added first, then lentils are added sometime before onions. And then the contrapositive is if O is before L, then Z cannot be first. Tomatoes and kale cannot be fifth. The mushrooms are added sometime before the tomatoes or the kale, but not before both. So the way to write this rule is we have mushroom is either before tomatoes or mushrooms are before kale, but not both. So I just would invert these and make this like this. K is before M is before T, or T is before M, which is before K. Okay, so, as always, we want to solve the scenarios via the hierarchy of rules, and if we look here, we're not given any first order rules, okay? And further, we're given we're not given any second order rules, which, second order rule is just a block, K and M must go next to each other, and then we could place K and M, but we're not really given any of that. If you look at this, K, M, and T, you could, there's just a number of different possibilities that you could put for K, M, and T in 6 spots. So we should understand that we're dealing with a nuts and bolts game, okay? And it's not a pure sequence game in the sense that we're given a couple of conditional rules. We're given exclusion rules here. What I think of when I say a pure sequence type of situation is it's all third order rules. Something goes before something, and you just start building a sequence. This isn't that way. All right, so the first thing that I'll do is just try to use rule reduction and put as many things on this diagram as possible. So I know that I cannot have T or K right here. And, many a test prep company will have you put that below the 5th spot. And that's redundant because if we put it below, we really can't work with it. But we know it's right here, and we know that T and K can't go there. And so we've eliminated at least this rule. But then we're left kind of with basically 3 rules, one conditional rule. This is also a conditional rule if Z is first. And then this third order rule that something goes before something. And unfortunately, we just have to keep this in our head and answer the questions, okay? So which one of the following could be the order in which the foods are added to the broth, okay? So if you look at this, if mushrooms are third, L is 6. And let me back up a little bit. We're basically in an elimination type of situation that we're going to look at each rule, compare them to the answer choices, and eliminate the answer choice that doesn't work. So let's start with, rule number 1. If M is third, L is 6th. And if you look at B, M is third and O is 6th. So B falls out of the equation, okay? If you look at the next rule, if Z is first, L has to be before O. And if you look at E, Z is first and O is before L. So E falls out, okay? And if we look at rule 3, T and K cannot be 5th. It's A. A has T 5th, so A falls out. And then the 4th rule here says either M is sandwiched between K and T. It's the simplest way to look at this. M has to be sandwiched between K and T. And if you look at C, M is not sandwiched between K and T, so C falls out. The answer to our question is D. Okay, which one of the following foods cannot be added first? All right. Well, what I'd like to do is explain the answer. But then I want to kind of work through these scenarios because I want to make sure that we have a full understanding of the game. If you look at K, the K can go first. There's no restrictions in these rules with regard to K. If you look at L, okay, there is no rule that's saying L can't be before everybody, okay? If Z is first, L can't be first. And if O is before L, L can't be first, but L could go first. But if you look at C, which is M, no matter what happens, M has to be sandwiched around somebody, okay? So the answer to the question is M, but I just want to start building a few of these. Let's say, can K go first? Okay, if I put K here, the way that I will build scenarios, okay, is to try to avoid problems with the rules. I don't want to put M third and make L sixth. Okay, I don't want to put Z first. I don't want to make O before L. I don't want to do any of these sufficient conditions because that means something must happen, okay? So I want to avoid that. All right, so let me just deal with K, M, and T. Let's just take care of those first. There's my sequence. I've also gotten rid of T and K, which can't go fifth, so I've avoided all of that. And then I could just work with L, O, and Z. And that works, okay? So I'm trying to get T and K away from that. I'm trying to get Z away from being first. I don't want O to be before L, so I avoid all sorts of problems. Now, let me think about, could I put L first? All right, so what I'll typically do is just work from what I'm given, okay? So the question becomes, could I put L first? All right, and I'm dealing with, could I just move everybody over? And that's fine. So all I did is I put L first and then I just moved everything over. But let me kind of fix this real quick. If M is third, L can't be sixth, so I cannot do that. Let me, if I were to put M here, okay, I'll put O here, K, M, T here, and then who am I left with? Z. Okay, so that would work. Let me just make sure M is not third, L is not sixth, Z is not first. I don't have O before L. I don't have that, and then I have my KMT. So this works, okay? So let's say I couldn't really see what was going on in the analytical game. What I can do is once I've built a few of these, I can refer back to them. So if we look at C, we know that that's the answer because there's no way that M can go first because either K or T has to be before it. Let's look at D, though. Could we put O first? Sure, if we could put O. If O is before L, Z can't be first. All right, so I'm going to put O there. I'm going to get rid of my K, M, and T because I want to keep them away from that. I can put an L there, and I can put a Z there. And, well, let's see. I ran into the same problem again. Let me redo that. I don't want to make, so let me see what I can do. I'll put K, M, and T like that. I'll put O before L, and then I'll put Z like that. So all I did is really just flip that over, and that worked just fine. I have K, M, T. I don't have M third. If L is not 6, M can't be third. That works. I don't have Z first. I have O before L, but I don't have Z first, and I have K, M, and T. That one works. So let's see what we can do with T. Could I not just do this? T, M, K, and then L, O, and Z. All right, I don't have M third. I don't have Z first. I don't have O before L. And then I have T, M, K. All right, so I've built 4 scenarios. I've taken a really long-winded approach. I have no idea why I'm doing this. I guess I just feel like talking LSAT tonight. But I've built 4 scenarios, and I should be going forward be able to refer to these, and I've got a kind of a good understanding of what can happen or how the game works. All right, let's look at 3. So this was 2. 3, if L is added last, then which one of the following must be true? Okay, if L is added last, well, I know for a fact that if L is added last, I'm going to be at an O before L, so I know that Z cannot go here. All right? I know that Z couldn't go first because I am going to have an O before an L. Do I know anything else? Not really. Does M have to be third? No. That would be confusing, necessary, and sufficient. All I know is that if M is third, L can be sixth. So that's all we know is that Z cannot go in this spot. That must be true. So let's look at the answer. If you look at A, at least one of the foods is added at some time before Z. Absolutely. Z could never go first. That is the answer to the question. Okay, if we look at, let's just kind of take a look at, let's look at B. At least two foods are added at some time before K. I just want to kind of, I don't know, I'm just hesitant to, I just want to be extra explanatory today for some ungodly reason. I don't know why. Here, I have K going first, okay? And then if I can make O go before L and I can put Z first. I don't have M third. I don't have Z first. I do have O before L and Z is not first. I don't have T or K fifth and I have a K, M, and T, so I disproved B. I can put K first, okay? If we look at C, the mushrooms are added third. I have T added third. Z is added third. Again, I have T added third. And then it says the tomatoes are added fourth. I have Z added fourth. So I've disproven every single B, C, D, and E. I know for a fact that A is the answer to the question. All right, let's look at 4. Which one of the following could be an accurate partial ordering of the foods added to the broth? L is second, and M is third. Well, if M is third, I need L to be here, so that would not work, okay? Let's look. Mushrooms are fourth, and lentils are last. So lentils are last, and mushrooms are fourth. Well, what's the problem with this? Okay, what did I say had to be sandwiched around M? A K or a T? Okay. This could not work. We cannot have K or T right there, so that could never work. Let's look at C. O is second, and M is fifth. All right, well, I know I know for a fact that I'd need a K or a T here. So let's just say I put a K there. I put a T right here. That's fine. I've got my TMK situation set up. If Z is first, okay, I couldn't put Z first here because if Z is first, I need L before O. So I can put Z fourth, and then I have L before O. So let's go down the rules. Do I have M third? No, I don't. Do I have L not 6? If L is not 6, M can't be third. That's okay. I don't have Z first. Do I have O before L? No, I don't. Do I have a T or a K fifth? No. And do I have a KMT or a TMK? Yes, I do. C, therefore, is the answer to the question. Let's look at D. D, Z is added third. All right, well, let's see. What happens if Z is added third? That it would help. I'm looking at D. Z is first. Boy, I have no idea how I saw that. Z is first and lentils are last. Well, if Z is first, then L has to be before O, so that could never happen. You would need an O here and possibly an L here. That would never work. I think I was looking up at question 3. I'm on question 4. If we look at E, Z is first. Z is first. Mushrooms are second. Well, again, we have this problem with T and K. There's no room there. So that falls out. Again, the answer to the question is C. All right, let's look at 5. If zucchini is added first, then which one of the following cannot be true? All right. Well, if Z is first, I need L before O. So somewhere I need an L before O. I need a K, M, and I need a M sandwiched between a K and a T. All right, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's really all that I need there. Okay, which one of the following cannot be true? Could we put K second? Let's try to do that. Z, K is second. If I put M third, I need L to be 6, but I need L to be before O, so that wouldn't work. Let me put an M here. If I were to, can't put M third. I can't put a T or K here. I've got a T here. I can do an L and an O, and there's no problem with that, so that could be true. Let's look at, could we put the tomatoes second? And this is good. This is one where I just switch it up. There's no problem with doing that. Okay, and let's see, could I make the lentils go third? There doesn't seem to be a problem with that either. If we look at D, the lentils are added fourth. Let's look at that. Let's see if we can make that work. I have L fourth and Z first. If Z is first, I need to have an L before an O, and then I need a KMT. The question becomes, where can I put? I cannot put M here. Okay, that will not work because if I put M here, I need L there. All right, so that only, and then I know that M has to be sandwiched between K and T. So I've got to put an M here. I've got to put a K or a T here. And the problem is that if I have Z first, I need L to go before O. So this could never work. D is the answer to the question. And then let's look at O. If we put O fourth, let's just do this real quick. So I have Z here, I have O fourth, and I just need to put an L before an O, and I can put T, M, and K, and that works just fine. So we know for a fact that the answer to the question is D. Okay, that concludes Logic Game 1, LSAT 40, and this is June of 2003. Thanks.